Right then, hello ladies and gents. I'm doing a video today as a follow-up talking about being self-employed in Spain. I did one last year. I was newly self-employed, just signed all the papers, and it's been a few months now since that time, and I thought I'd just check in, give you my impressions so far. But first, looking at the date, 12th of March, we are coming up for a quarter of the way through 2020. For some of us it's going very fast, for others very slow. Myself, I'm a little bit thrown. There's a lot of things going on. It does seem like it's going kind of slow this month for obvious reasons, but also the year is passing quickly. There's just no doubt about it. February just went flying by. So really though, looking at 2020 so far, I've made a list of things that have happened. Ooh, yeah. So this little list I made just before doing the video. I've got fires, floods, storms, political movements, stock market crashes, and of course this the big one we've got at the moment, which is the coronavirus, COVID-19, that is going around. So, wow, I think I picked a hell of a time to set up by myself and to go it alone. It seems like the world is coming to an end. Of course it's not, if you choose to believe the sensationalist media, but we're still here, we're still going. But yeah, it has presented some challenges. So I'm not going to talk about all that stuff, thank God, because I don't want to put myself through it. But I will be giving some impressions of being self-employed in Spain and how recent events have had an impact on my job. And I'll try to give some recommendations for anybody who may be thinking of setting up by themselves in Spain also. All right, guys, so stay tuned. I'll be back. All right, so there's a few categories, obviously, to talk about when you talk about being self-employed. The first one that everyone's going to ask probably is, how much money can you make? Well, I'm just kind of one guy, one-man band, so I can't say that I'm a rich man. I don't make a horrendous amount of money. I don't make a great amount of money. I kind of get by. I have a comfortable life, but anyone thinking of doing this as an English teacher, for example, and thinking they're going to be rich, no, you're probably not, actually, depending on your business. If you're not an English teacher, if you're setting up your own business, then of course it depends what you sell. I can only speak from my own experience. You can make a respectable living doing this, and obviously it helps if you have experience, if you have a kind of a list of clients, a sort of contact list that you can go to. And I found that really it's not been too bad. I'm fortunate at the moment, because I'm in my first year of being self-employed, that I can get a reduced rate of tax and social security payments. So that helps a lot, okay? I only pay about 60 euros a month in social security. When you set up as a self-employed autonomo here, the first 2 years you have a discount. For the first year you get 60 euros, second year 120, then it goes up to the full amount, which will be between 275 and 300 a month. Okay, you pay that regardless of whether you work or not. So that would change things slightly. As a one-man band, that would be problematic for me at the moment. But maybe if I can continue to do well over the next year or two, that would be something to consider. But yeah, that social security payment can be really hard for a lot of people. So you have to always assume that 300 a month is going to go out. And then every 3 months, very similar to other countries, you'll pay your tax. And thankfully, I've not had any problems making that payment. That's been fine for me. It's just a question of organisation. I have people around me helping me to do that, with invoices and keeping track of your receipts so you can get tax deductions for your materials. That type of logical stuff, which anyone who's self-employed will tell you, is really important. But there is that little extra level of administration that you perhaps wouldn't need to do if you were a contracted worker, for example. So yeah, you can live comfortably. You will have to dedicate more time to your administration. Your invoices need to be in order. You need to declare your receipts so you can get your deduction, or not, but you know, why would you not? It makes no sense. And there has to be money in the account every month for that social security payment and any other bills you might have. I'm saving a lot on bills at the moment. I work predominantly from home. It's not a solution for the rest of my life. So when I tell you about these, the financial element of being self-employed, I'm kind of half in, half out, if you get what I mean. I'm kind of in a transition stage. I've got discounts, I'm working from home. If I really jump in, I'll have to do things a lot bigger. The costs will go up, and hopefully the income will go up as well. But that's the trick, isn't it? That's if we could all do that, we'd all be rich, but we'll see what happens. Money as well, of course, it takes a little while to get used to a fluctuating income. For example, December is a 3-week month. We have the Christmas holidays, which overlap into January. So January is only a 3-week month, effectively. So I get less money. I was doing okay. Pretty much February was good. And then, of course, this month, we've had some real problems. I mean, this virus has come in and really caused havoc in every single industry. I'm not the only one suffering from this, but income now has decreased for March, and I'm assuming April will kind of be similar. That's a real pain. I'll be honest with you. I'll have a look at that in a bit more detail in a moment, but a fluctuating salary, or wage I should say, that's part and parcel of the game. You're going to have some great months when people come in, you pick up extra work, you can make some really good money, and then that will be offset by the fact that some months are shorter. As a teacher, for example, August, I won't probably make anything, okay? So I'll still have to make my social security payments, pay the mortgage. That has to be factored in. So you really have to pay attention to your finances. Living pay packet to pay packet doesn't work. You've really got to make sure that you plan, put money aside to cover various costs, and keep an amount to invest or to spend on what you like or whatever. But you really do have to learn to be much more disciplined with your money. But not just the money, of course. It's a lifestyle as well. Anyone who is self-employed will tell you it's a labour of love. It's very rare that you do it unless you enjoy what you're doing. I enjoy teaching. I've been doing it for a long time, and yeah, for me the lifestyle is good. But the hours are long, I'm not going to lie. I basically do classes when people want me to do classes. So, for example, I do a Skype class at 6:30 in the morning, some mornings, 3 days a week. Because some people, professionals work in Barcelona, they want to do a class before they go to work in the morning. So you get up and you do it. I mean, if that's what the customer wants, you adapt yourself to that need. And then you may work all morning or may not, it depends on the day. And middays, maybe not. There's a good market at middays. People are taking their lunches, and a lot of people jump on Skype and want to do an English class or come here and do an English class. And also in the afternoons, once the school's finished, that's your big period. Your boom as an English teacher will probably be from about 4 o'clock until 7 or 8. That's really when things pick up and get very, very busy. And adult classes can go through to 9 o'clock. So it can be a full day, it can be a little bit of a shotgun or a buckshot schedule with bits and pieces everywhere. Obviously, you try and fill up as much as you can because you're always thinking of the months ahead. I've got to set money aside. So if I have a good month, I don't go and buy a really big bottle of champagne or anything. I just stash the money, knowing that later I'll have to use it to pay bills, taxes, and social security payments when the money doesn't come in so much. So it is that balance. The lifestyle, though, in general is good. I still have my hobbies. I'm a bit more tired, I have to say. But it's just a question of discipline. You get up, you do what you have to do, and when you do have an hour or a couple of hours free, you use it. Today I'm making this video. I would normally be teaching, but I got coronaed. out of that class for at least the foreseeable future. And so I decided to do something else. Yeah, it really is just that, just focusing and squeezing as much as you can out of every moment and enjoying it. You know, if you don't enjoy what you're doing though, what, you're going to suffer. That's the big one. Probably the biggest thing for me is, or the biggest benefit I should say, is the fact that I'm doing what I want to do. All right, not being answerable to people immediately anyway. Of course, I still pay my taxes. I still have a boss in that sense, you know. But being my own boss is what I've always wanted to do. So for me, that ticks a lot of boxes. It makes me really, really happy. And I'm really pleased that I'm able to do that. And I think that's really, for me, what this whole project has been about, is trying to get in line with what my head is telling me that I should do. You know, I've had that feeling that so many people have, that kind of uneasy feeling when you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. And I think a lot of us have it at some point in our lives. You know, like I used to work in customer service. I've worked in debt collection, and I always felt like I was going against the grain. My head was always saying to me, like, why are you doing this there? And I was uneasy, I was restless, irritable, irritated in general, and it played with my head quite a lot, and that really leads you down a very unhealthy road. And the key thing for me with this has been bringing my work in line with what I know I should be doing. I know what I'm good at, I know what I'm bad at. Collecting money off people, I wasn't very good at that. Having those conversations with people yelling on the phone, that's just not me. That didn't make me happy in any way. It didn't make me feel satisfied in any way. Customer service, I couldn't stand it either. It's just getting yelled at by people and having to smile and try to calm people down when you're just thinking whatever's going through your head. Probably can't say it on this video, but all that type of thing just used to drive me crazy. And there is a huge sigh of relief internally when you can just change your trajectory and get on doing something that you love doing and that you find satisfying in your life. And if any message gets out from this video about why am I doing this, why am I putting myself through this, given the global and political situation all over the planet, it's because of that. It's because even though we have all this big list of problems that I've read off, and you know, money will fluctuate, I don't have a fixed income, and maybe it's a bit risky, the reason I do it is because of that, because it makes me feel in line with what I should be doing. I don't believe in destiny. I'm not a spiritual person particularly, but I do believe that you're suited to things. You should do things that suit you. If you don't do that, then your brain, your body will react against it. Your body is a very intelligent thing. The mind is part of the body, and it will react. It will just tell you, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This is pointless. You're not satisfying what your brain needs. And that would be my advice to you guys, really. If you are in that type of job, and I've done it, trust me, where you're just sitting there thinking, why? Then change it up, really. Don't be afraid to do it. If you can be responsible with your money and take a couple of little risks, depending on your situation, everyone is different, then yeah, you can achieve things, and you can manage to change your life and get onto a trajectory that is suited to you. I'm not there yet, I'm not completely there yet, but I'm working on it, and I can tell you that I feel so much better for it. So far, if I'm summarizing my impressions of being self-employed, difficult, no question about it. Trying to organize everything. You know, I do my own advertising. My girlfriend helps me with administration, so that's a great help with paperwork and stuff, but you still have to be on top of it. You can't just ignore it and hope it gets done. You're responsible for it. Managing the bank account, that's going to be me. You know, you have to play all the different parts until such time that you can expand and maybe get more people in to help you. So that's it for impressions, and I'll be back in a sec to talk about the Corona effect. Okay, so Corona time, yeah. How have we been affected here and the effect on my job? So far, I am touching wood here, we don't seem to be doing too badly in Mataró, where I am. Although, look, this is all going to change, I think, over the next weeks. Things are going to get worse before they get better. I think that's just generally, we're all in that frame of mind, and that's how it's going to be. But I can hear the kids playing in the school next door. We seem to be doing relatively well, if I'm being honest. So it hasn't really impacted society here too much. We've had, the same as in Britain and various other countries where people have been running to the supermarket and buying stuff up. But, well, the less said about that, the better. In terms of my work, the impact really didn't kick in until last week, when a few students have dropped out. I'm kind of grateful for this in some way because they've been feeling ill. So if they feel ill, I don't really want them coming here and infecting me. So I kind of appreciate that. Obviously, that costs me money, and that is not great. But I prefer to be healthy. I prefer my health to money. The big one was one of the classes that I do on a weekly basis. I go 4 hours on a Thursday morning, which is why I'm now here. I go to a clinic, a kidney dialysis clinic, and I teach the staff there English classes. And that is one of my better contracts where I make respectable money on that, and it helps me every month. That has now been suspended. Subcontractors going in there have been temporarily suspended because they don't want the patients to get infected. Again, logical, I can understand it, and I think they don't have any choice in that matter, but it costs me money. No work, no pay. So that's going to hurt this month. There's no getting around it, really. That's going to be very painful for me this month. And I got the email the other day saying classes will be suspended temporarily. There's no time frame. So I'm hoping in April that I can resume classes. But schools close for 1 week in April, so it's automatically 1 week less for the Easter holidays. So, yeah, that is a worry. Also, I do 1 group or 2 classes per week in a language academy where I used to work full time. And we're still waiting on the government to give us the bad news that academies and schools are going to be closed. If academies close, subcontractors like myself will not be going there to work, obviously, and that will cost me more money. So as things stand, I'm not doing too bad. I'll make all my payments without any problems. I'm quite prudent, putting money aside, saving money for a rainy day, so I'm not worried. But it's going to hurt. This month is going to hurt, and obviously, again, this is not just me. This is self-employed people and businesses globally at the moment. We're all suffering from this thing, and that's the challenge. We've got to get through it. I'm going to persist. I'm not going to let this put me off. I think as a business, as any kind of self-employed person, as an investor, as a person thinking of setting up a small business, if we can come through this period, this kind of baptism of fire, then things can only really get better. You look at the stock market charts, you look at the way schools are closing, Italy's in quarantine. It's a scary period, but I'm pretty determined, really. I'm going to continue on, and the Corona effect will not put me off. So, has it affected me? Yes. Will it continue to affect me? I hope not, but it certainly won't deter me in the long term. I think certainly with Skype classes becoming more and more popular, I've taken on 2 new ones recently. There's a market there for online and doing the classes safely from home. And if I can't go out and do classes or receive people here, I'll just have to push through as best I can until that picks up. So it's a worrying period, but not the end of the world. So that's it. That's the Corona effect. Guys, thanks very much for tuning in. I know it's been a long one, this one, so I do apologise. But I wanted to get all the information out there, and I hope for anyone who is interested in being self-employed or thinking of moving to Spain, then maybe it gives you a little bit of an insight into how the kind of situation is here, and I'll try and keep updating as I go. I don't feel completely qualified to do it because, as I said, I'm still in that kind of transition period, moving from kind of semi-self-employed, which I was doing for the last couple of years, into being completely self-employed, which I am now. So I'm taking small steps but constant ones. So I probably can't say that I'm an expert on the subject, but I'll do my best to help you out if you have any questions. And yeah, I think that's me pretty much done. So if you found the video at all informative or in some way, shape or form entertaining, then please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, which will allow me to make more of these types of videos. And yeah, I wish you very, very well in everything that you're doing. I wish you more than ever good health, and I hope we can stay in touch, and we'll speak again soon. Guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you around.